All right, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury, flying solo today for the rest of the week. I think we got a few people ducking in. We have a few guests for the rest of the week, but today, flying solo, but we'll be joined by producer Nikki Barron near the bottom of the hour with the coronavirus update. Also, even Oya's out today. So Bobby Stills is over there pressing all the buttons. So, you got to be patient with us today because you got me over here by myself and Bobby Stills over there experimenting. So we'll see how the show turns out. And before we get going, let me put this up here. Let me get the side cam, Bobby. Yeah, so we got the Converge coffee mugs. It's a good way to show your support for Converge. Help us keep on the air and a good place for your coffee. You can go to whereweconverge.com /shop. And you can pick up a coffee mug there. So want to say thanks to everybody for your support. Also, a big shout out to people watching, of course, here in Seattle, but our viewership continues to grow in Pierce County and Snohomish County, Everett, and Tacoma. Also over in Eastern Washington, Spokane, Tri-Cities, the Rose City down in Portland, and everywhere in between. Thank you very much. This is also a great opportunity to remind you to tag a friend who might appreciate the Morning Update Show or share the stream, as we like to say around here. Lots of news going on today. Yesterday was a big news day between the mayor, the stuff coming out from the courts, a settlement with SPD, and in the Che Taylor case, a lot of heat with Superintendent Juneau. We're going to go ahead. We're going to dive right into it. Who's first up over here is Mayor Durkan. So Mayor Durkan won't be running for re-election. Saying that she wants to spend the remaining time of her term working on COVID recovery, which is a big lift, by the way. The city is, man, it's all bad with COVID. So, it kind of leads some questions that are out there as to who's going to be running for mayor, who's going to come in here. Some names that are swirling around there already are Councilmember Mosqueda Gonzalez, who's already filed is Seed Seattle's Lance Randall, black man, out there running. Let me bring this back here. I would say this is that it's been an interesting ride, and Seattle can't seem to keep a two-term mayor. And this term right here for Mayor Durkan, like the last 12 months, considering COVID, protests, some of everything else, she's not running for re-election. It's a lot of talk out there. Some people are like, okay, is the mayor going to take a position in the Biden administration? I tell people all the time, like here in Seattle, like progressives think that Mayor Durkan is a conservative. They think that she's far right. But a lot of the rest of America, when they look at Seattle and they look at Mayor Durkan, they consider Mayor Durkan to be a leftist, a straight up progressive. So it'll be interesting to see what the next move in. But the bigger question is who's going to come into Seattle and be the mayor? Who's going to be the mayor? And this is an interesting format today because it's just me. I can pose some questions out there to the audience and we can put some stuff on screen. Who do you guys want to see as the next mayor of Seattle? What are some of the names that are floating around in your mind? Who would you like to see there? I think that this presents an opportunity with Mayor Durkan not running for re-election is to really realign the city, man. The city is out of alignment for sure. Some things, maybe City Hall, but a lot of other things, not City Hall, they can't control COVID and a few other things that are going on there. But it'd be interesting, like who is going to really step up into a position of leadership? Because it's easy. I'll be honest with you, no matter what, whether you like Mayor Durkan or dislike Mayor Durkan, it's always easy to point a finger. It's very difficult to get things done. So who do you out there, you in the audience, who do you want to see come in and be mayor of the city of Seattle? Who do you think has the leadership capabilities? Who do you think has the ability to be able to be effective in all districts? Because you have to be a mayor of the whole city, 750,000 people. Let me pop over here real quick. Somebody put on Mark. Yeah, you got to take that down. I'll let you know right now. That's a no for me. Somebody put Nikita Oliver. Nikita, she ran last time against Mayor Durkan. We'll see what happens there. if Nikita's going to run again. Because what we saw, and I'll be honest with you, especially through the Seattle protests, is that a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, who call themselves leaders, they weren't willing to put themselves in danger, political danger, physical danger, any kind of danger. You know what I'm saying? People got the alligator arms real quick when things got heavy out here. And so there's a big void in our city for leadership. It's a big void. So this presents a big opportunity, and maybe for people that someone's never heard of, to jump out there and to really come in and lead in a real way. There's definitely a vacuum here. There's a big gap between street level here in Seattle and city hall and city council. Like, we see it, it's evident. It's going on right now. This gap is still there right now. So who's really going to come in? And then, you know, you got a lot of city council members who was, you know, I don't know, they was waffling. We still got that maple syrup back there, Bobby. We still got it here. We saw a lot of people waffling. And, you know, I mean, the thing is the lead a city, your yeses need to be your yeses and your noes need to be your noes. And we saw a real gap in leadership in the city. So, like I said, it's going to be an interesting race. We'll see what happens. Also, we'll see what happens. You know, the mayor made this bold pronouncement, $100 million a year for the next 10 years, trying to get that funded and everything else. A lot of that money now sits with the city council. We'll see how that plays out. But a big thing I'm sure that we can all agree upon, no matter what, is that our city definitely needs recovery from COVID. Just downtown alone, over 160 businesses that have closed, that won't be coming back. COVID impact across the city on all kinds of different levels and everything else. And it really is going to take a focused effort. So hopefully Mayor Durkan is sincere in what she's saying, that she wants to be able to commit the remainder of her term to helping the city of Seattle recover from COVID. So we shall see. Next up here, we have on our sheet, Che Taylor. Here we go. Seattle Police Department settles Che Taylor wrongful death suit for $1.5 million. New evidence cast doubt on officers' claim Taylor was armed. And this one right here, this is wild, man, because basically it's a question whether he even had a gun, right? And then, let me bring this back up here. And then there was conflicting instructions. One officer told Che Taylor to put his hands up, while the other one told him to get on the ground. And a total of 5 seconds between when they approached Che Taylor and when they killed him. 5 seconds between when they approached Che Taylor and they killed Che Taylor. Kind of reminds you of Ian Burke and John T. Williams. You know, five seconds from when they approached Che Taylor and they killed him. No gun was ever found on Taylor. They said that he had a holster. An officer said that he had a holster, but a holster was found in the streets. And what the officers said at the time, and one of the officers have been involved in multiple shootings, what the officers said at the time is that they felt that their life was in danger. And so we see now, because a federal judge, I think it was Judge Zilli, was like, yo, I'm gonna let this case go forward. The judge found that there was enough compelling things there to let the case go forward, but he forced them into mediation, and out of that mediation is what we have here. But imagine, it said that questions arise whether Che Taylor was ever armed. It makes you really kind of go back to the overall narrative that was put out. You know, I remember watching this case here. And the narrative is that Che Taylor was an armed felon who didn't follow police instruction. Now, it turns out that Che Taylor might have never had a gun. It turns out that the police gave 2 instructions: hands up and get on the ground. All at the same time, they said that they saw a holster in his belt. Holster was found somewhere in the street, and the city is now settled for $1.5 million to the family of Che Taylor. Man, we got a few more mayor comments here. Hey, I gotta throw this one up. Where'd it go? Oh, it's gone. These people are commenting fast today. Somebody said, "Con love for mayor." I don't know if my brother will run for mayor. You vote for him, Bobby?
Possibly. Depends on the platform.
But okay, that's a good answer. He said possibly, depends on the platform. So as we see, Seattle Police Department, I mean, this is the thing is that a lot of times these narratives that are put out by the government, no matter who the government agency is, they get picked up and they get ran with. And, it's taking years later for a lot of this information where the family might have been saying one thing, but people cast doubt upon it. But clearly, this going into mediation and reaching this point right here, the city feels that they might lose in court. And so, of course, there's a settlement here. Again, 5 seconds between when they approached Taylor and shot Taylor. Conflicting instructions. Questions arise if Taylor ever had a gun. Moving on. What do we have over here? Federal judge holds Seattle Police Department in contempt for use of pepper spray, blast balls during Black Lives Matter protest. Imagine. Federal judge holds Seattle Police Department in contempt for use of pepper spray and blast balls during Black Lives Matter protests. Well, got a little bit to say about this. Hold on, bring it back up off the screen. Find this video here. So this case is interesting. Our footage, converged footage, was in the original case, the original tear gas case. And in this case right here, it was our footage, some of our footage that was there September 6th at SPOG, shot by Chris Rojas. And then the August at Washington State Patrol headquarters, that was my footage that was there. We're not part of the lawsuit. We're not mentioned in the lawsuit. We're not a plaintiff in the lawsuit, but our footage was used when they went to court with this right here. And I can tell you, right, and that reading through this, let me pop out the notes here. U.S. District Judge Richard Jones issued a 27-page order Monday in response to a motion by BLM. Of the less lethal weapons, the court is most concerned about SPD's use of blast balls, the most indiscriminate of the four crowd control weapons which he examined. SPD has often hurled blast balls into crowds of protesters with no immediate threat to the officer's safety or public property could be identified, the judge said. So we got some video here, and if anybody is triggered by protest footage, then this is a good time to mute your TV, mute your whatever you're watching on, to mute or turn away. But I want to show the general public right here. A lot of people might not have seen these kind of things when it was happening or it was going down or anything else. But this was filmed by Steve Hickey, photojournalist Steve Hickey. Me and him were standing next to each other on July 25th with the rest of the media. This is media there, the Associated Press, Capitol Hill, Seattle.com, the South Seattle Emerald, the Seattle Times. And we're standing over there, and look what comes our way.
He's hit too. Your media. He didn't come out. The media taking the worst than anybody.
So Judge Jones talked about the indiscriminate use of these blast balls. And I'm gonna tell you, on that day right there, the amount of blast balls that were indiscriminately thrown to people just to press. And you hear me, I'm gonna play this one more time. You hear me at the end of the tape. The media is taking it worse than anybody. You talk about indiscriminate, the rules of the blast ball say underhand throw. People should be at least 30 feet away. Don't throw it in the middle of a crowd. Don't throw it if there's not enough distance there. Everything else, man, all of that stuff was thrown out the book.
He's hit too. Your media. He didn't come out. The media taking it worse than anybody out here.
100%. And we got footage of it for days. Blast balls. There's another one on another stream where the blast ball explodes right next to my head and suffered temporary hearing loss. We're sitting over there, press, media, everything. I mean, this is great. Judge Jones, he said, oh, well, you know, a lot of things, or I can't tell and everything else. But it's like, man, come on. You know, I'm interested in what the sanction is. And I want to be clear with the public. Nobody at Converge, not me, Bobby Stills, Jake Gravbrot, Eric Calligraphy, who got hammered by the SPD. We ain't on no lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? We're not suing nobody, anything. We waited here to see how the system is going to play out, you know, and so it's fine. They three flashbangs, they find one mace. But man, I'm showing you guys this, and I got another clip here because it's important that people remember what happened here in Seattle. It's easy with this news cycle. We glaze over everything, you know, it's on to the next thing. People need to remember this right here. I'm going to take you back to the Western Barricade, the first day the tear gas came out.
And now you see they're reinforcing the barricade. We have not heard an audible anything from an authority here. The umbrellas are out. We're getting pushed back. Don't spray that shit. Don't spray it. Don't spray it. Okay, the umbrellas are here. You see people put out the umbrellas to block the spray. To block the spray. It's rowdy right here. Hold on. Let me bring it down. Let's just try to de-escalate. Let's try to de-escalate this. Let's just try to bring this down, guys. You know, it's a lot of worse shit than going to jail, like a flashbang, shrapnel, or something. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this shit down. So we see him grabbing the umbrella. There's the spray. There's the spray. There's the spray. It's on now. It's on. East Precinct. They're losing control. State police are trying to open the barricade. They're putting the pepper spray in the air. Share this stream. Share this stream. Tag and share this stream. Share this stream. This, goddamn it, they got me, you motherfuckers. I'm gonna eat this shit though. There it is. There it is. It's a crush. It's a crush. I got pepper spray all over me. They're not moving. I got sprayed, but shit, I've been through worse. Barricade is up. Barricade is up. The officers are coming with the spray, and this is exactly what's happened here. Get the fuck out my way. Let's see here. This is what's going on. I only got one eye. These are flashbangs. This is flashbangs. They're deploying flash. Hey, bring this shit down. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. This is share this stream. God damn it. It's the tear gas. It's the fucking tear gas. Police, stop. Holy shit. Tear gas is everywhere. Holy shit. Oh, shit.
What happened there June 1st? You see it right there. And it's easy, right? Because people, the reason why I play this is a few different reasons. People think, oh yeah, the protesters got tear gassed. You know what I'm saying? Thousands and thousands of peaceful people out there protesting, you know? They said that the protesters got tear gassed. Nah, a whole neighborhood got tear gassed. That's why I show that video and it goes on. You go up there on the stream, blocks and blocks and blocks got tear gas. People sitting there drinking coffee at a coffee shop. People who are in their home with their kids. People who just happen to be walking around Capitol Hill. They all got tear gas. So when people say protesters got tear gas, no, a residential neighborhood in the city of Seattle got tear gas. And also what people don't understand is up until that point where that gas came out, the protesters were all George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Black Lives Matter. After June 1st, when that gas came out, the protest, people were protesting against the Seattle Police Department and the East Precinct, and they never got that. They never got it. They never understood. We was telling them, you guys who followed the stream back then, hey, you know what? The tenor of this protest has shifted a little bit. People are now protesting directly against SPD and directly against the East Precinct for the use of the tear gas. Do you know how many people became protesters that day who weren't even concerned about protesting, but they got gassed out of their own home? Their business got gassed. So then the next day they're on the Western Barricade. In downtown, what did you hear people say? Instead of saying like, oh, okay, this protest has now changed trajectory, they were still like, we know that you're mad about George Floyd. We know that you're mad about Breonna Taylor. Nah, man, people are mad because they got gassed in their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like hindsight is 20/20 and everything else. But, you know, and the crazy thing is that it takes a judge to sit here and say that it's contempt, 3 flashbangs, 1 whatever. The contempt is that, man, we would gas our own people. That's the contempt. This isn't downtown. People have an idea of how things go downtown. It's all those office buildings there. This is a residential neighborhood. And those people who got gassed out there, that was the beginning of the protest. Though a lot of those people lived there. Those are first responders who worked up there on Pill Hill. Nurses and doctors, those are people, baristas, your bank teller, all those kind of people at your restaurant. Those were the people that were out there the early days of the protest. Those were the people that got gassed, y'all. And so, I mean, it's amazing. You know, I mean, I read this and everything else, and it's fine. This judge found, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We got some footage somewhere. I'm going to have Bobby Stills find it, to where they ran out of flashbang grenades. They ran out of munitions. And we got video of them restocking, bringing more munitions in there because they ran out of flashbangs. All kinds of stuff thrown in people's heads, stuff thrown in groups, stuff thrown at people on the ground. Now, I bring this up to you. I bring this up to you, people of Seattle, because you need to remember. You need to remember this. And I'm not asking you to remember it to seek vengeance. I'm asking you to remember this to seek change. We don't never see nothing like that again in this city. It's just, man, it's a lot. We was there. There's a lot of other people. I happen to have a camera, some good people around me. It's a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? You'll never know their impact. They didn't have a camera. They wasn't live streaming. They didn't have a Bobby Stills or Jake or Eric to have their back so they could be out there. It's a lot of people that was impacted, man. And this is the thing is people, it's crazy. People forget a whole neighborhood was gassed. And it wasn't like it was just June 1st. Oh, man, we messed up. We put gas out in the whole neighborhood. The next night, gassed again. Indiscriminate use of these weapons. You know what I'm saying, man? I really don't even go off on these police issues, man. I'm like, okay, let's wait, let's see, whatever. And we'll continue to see what happens here. And they're talking about this Senate event review, where they're going to look at this big thing in a big picture and say, oh, what happened and how it happened or whatever. But until people are just willing to tell the truth, man, you know what I'm saying? If people made mistakes, just say like, man, we could have done this better. You know what I'm saying? We made a mistake, but it's just the arrogance. We did everything perfectly. There was no errors made, this and that. Come on, man. There's enough blame all the way around here, including on media. But it's just the willingness to stand there and be like, you've done nothing wrong. So it'll be interesting to see what sanctions are or whatever, and this contempt filing, however they're going to move along with it. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. But, man, I told you we was riled up today. Next, Seattle Schools Chief Denise Juneau likely won't have support for a contract renewal, school board president says. So Chandra Hampson, Director Hampson, who we had here on Community Voices on Converge. She's predicting that Superintendent Juneau will not have enough votes to keep her job past June 2021, saying it's pretty certain she doesn't have the votes. Hampson and Juneau had some, long story short, bring this back up. Long story short, man, a lot of people on the school board, they don't have confidence in Juneau. And, they might be signaling to Juneau so she resigns, so she's not like fired in a sense. And so they're putting it out there early that she's not going to have enough votes to come back. And, the superintendent is under a lot of heat by some community groups, including the NAACP, about the treatment of Black students there in Seattle Public Schools. I talked to Director Juneau last week when they talked about the Seattle Promise program, everything there. Director Juneau laid out a bunch of programs that Seattle Public Schools has that's intentionally targeting Black male achievement. She also said that Black students, I believe Black males, the graduation rate is up by 8%. But it sounds like, Superintendent Juneau won't be back. And it just brings up an issue with Seattle Public Schools. This is $1 billion school district, y'all. Billion would it be? $1 billion school district where some stuff is still paper files and folders and some of everything else, man. $1 billion school district. And this gap, what's crazy is the budget gets bigger, the technology around us gets better, but the gap continues to grow, And speaking of that, what I got right here, the Seattle Special Education PTSA votes no confidence, in district after Black child was repeatedly locked outside. So here, the organization took the vote due to the district's repeated failure to hold adults accountable and repair their deeply entrenched systems that allow young, vulnerable children with disabilities and especially children of color who are overrepresented in a special education program to be restrained and isolated at school. And now they're saying this is for KUOW. It's unusual for a PTSA to take a vote of no confidence in a district. But they said that the story of this young Black second grader named Jalil put in a fenced play court at the direction of the school principal, sometimes all day, and witnessed by many other students, was the last straw for the organization. Wow. Imagine that. A fenced play court. Other students see them in there, be in there all day. The district bought out the principal's contract. The principal there is no longer there at the school, but imagine. So, like the superintendent's under a lot of heat, but I think that, man, there's something wrong in the structure, maybe altogether, in Seattle Public Schools. I bring that up because when I interviewed school board president Hampson, she talked about the structure, the way that the school board is structured is based upon a format that's outdated. Because I asked her, I'm like, man, is Seattle Public Schools set up for best practice? And she said that a lot of how the school district is set up is old school. So I don't know what needs to happen there, but it's superintendent after superintendent. So is it the superintendent? Is it the way that, the things are operating? In this article right here, they said that discipline regarding this principal and what the principal did basically stays within the building. That there's nothing up the chain where people are disciplined, but it's crazy. You lock a 2-year-old. And they said that the children who are restrained the most are the students that are in special ed. So again, we shall see. Man, I've been kind of ranting this morning, And I'll be honest with you, when this stuff comes up, especially these issues like this summer and, you know, the protests and everything, it riles all of us up over here. You know, it riles all of us up because we remember, you know, we'll never forget here at Converge for 30 days, looked into a camera, talked to the city of Seattle, to everybody, where the leaders at? Where are the leaders at? We just need people out here with a little bit of courage. Where are you? We talked every single day. Where are you? Where are the leaders at in Seattle? This is the place. This is the time. Even with the president of the United States in there tweeting about Seattle, where'd they come? Now, after the fact, so y'all be honest with you. After the fact, y'all be surprised. Guess what? All of these groups and all of these leaders, now that the coast is cleared and the chop is cleared and the protests have diminished some, now my phone blows up. Hey, Omari, can you, we're trying to do reconciliation around the protest. Can you talk to this and talk to that and talk to, where was you, cuz? When we was out there, where were you? Where were you to de-escalate? Where's all these people who are professional de-escalators? You had 8 days in a row right there on the Western Barricade to showcase your excellent de-escalation skills. Where was you? It was just us out there. Where were you? Now you want to show up? Oh, okay, great. Welcome to the party. Let me pour you a double. Where's all of these people? You know what I'm saying? All these politicians and aspiring politicians. Man, you weren't willing to put yourself in political harm. You weren't willing to come. Imagine if Mayor Durkan came out June 2nd to the Western Barricade and said, Seattle's not a city that gasses its citizens. See, because the same thing happened, if you remember, later on that month, the judge, I believe it was the same judge, overturned the city of Seattle. They passed a law banning tear gas. And a federal judge threw that law out because it didn't go through the consent decree, right? And so tear gas was still legal. What happened that same day? Seattle Police Department Chief Best made a promise to the citizens of Seattle, tear gas would not be used that weekend. How come that promise couldn't have been made June 2nd after these images of June 1st of tear gas everywhere was out and people saw it? See, discretion is always there. Do people use it? Looks like not often. Opportunities for leadership is there. Where are you? Huh? Playing catch up now. You know what I'm saying? I miss a long list, Bobby Stills. There's a long list of people. Oh, how can we talk? This and that. We want to do whatever. I mean, man, that's fine. And there's got to be a starting place for everything. But just know that a lot of you guys missed your window. You missed your opportunity to just show up, to be present. And I'm not talking about you have to be present to get tear gas. Just be present. You missed an opportunity. This leadership vacuum in this city is big. And perhaps now with Mayor Durkan not running for re-election, this leadership vacuum in this city will be filled. Where are the people in this city who can sit with a Mayor Durkan, who can sit with the city council, who can sit with a Nikita Oliver, who can sit with a White King or a Chief Diaz? Where are they? Who can sit with all these people? Because you know what the problem is? All the people who can do that, the majority of them already have their own special interest. Who's the people whose special interest is just a better Seattle? Where are you at? That's who needs to emerge. Because all the people who can pick up the phone, they got their own aspirations. They're trying to run for office. They're trying to get more funding. They're trying to get whatever. Where are the people in Seattle who just want to see a better city? Where are you at? Where's your willingness to step out? Where's your willingness to lead? Where's your willingness to put yourself in political harm, to do what's right? Where are you? It's so tribal, man. It's just crazy. Man, we're going to go to break. And my mama always says, don't leave people in an infected state. And I'm sure that in this first segment here today, You know, we played this protest footage, what always impacts people. We talked about a lot of stuff. So I don't want to leave people in an affected state. And if I got you riled up, I apologize. But, you know, sometimes we just got to keep it real. I'm going to switch the mood here real quick. And we're going to play another one of these interview segments from Communion Restaurant. We're going to go to break and we'll be back with Nikki Barron.
Well, I think it's funny. Like, I think it's funny because one of the things talking about like Black chefs is always this assumption that we're going to make soul food. And it really just is such a limiting conversation for us because there's so much food and there's so many influences. And so for me, I think that soul food is just that what feeds who you are, you know, and that doesn't really have a particular palette. And I think that depends on the chef and how they decide to paint that picture. So with us, we're very heavily influenced by the neighborhoods that we live in. And there is a large Southeast Asian influence in my food right now. And I'm excited to continue to explore. We do a lot of East African influences. We make hummus out of black-eyed peas, which is an interesting mix. And then we have different flavors. So we have a Cajun flavor, real spicy, you know, really flavorful. Then we also have the slow burn, which has the bear spice. And that's real like rich and it's like a chili powder, but it's real rich. And then we add different things in there to bring on some heat. So I feel like we just do a lot of things that remind us of where we grew up, you know, 23rd and Cherry or, you know, Chinatown.
My parents coming over here as refugees meant that they didn't really have anything when they came to America. Having reliable healthcare and having a reliable doctor was really important. Cộng đồng của tôi, trạm y tế của tôi.
我的社区，我的诊所。Mi comunidad, mi clínica.
بلشدة هي بقارها.
My community, my clinic.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your man, the Big O. Want to take a moment here, first of all, to say thank you for your support of Converge Media. We definitely wouldn't be here without you. Secondly, I want to thank everybody who is a supporter of Converge Media on Patreon. We definitely appreciate your support. And for those of you might not know, I'll let you know, we operate 100% off of donations. Some donations big, most donations small, but we love all donations all the same. If you haven't done so yet, I want to encourage you to go on our website to whereweconverge.com/donate and subscribe. You click on the Patreon link and you can subscribe for as little as $5 a month. There's higher tiers beyond that as well. And just know that your subscription literally keeps us on the air. Once again, I want to thank you for all your support. All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury, joined by producer extraordinaire Nikki Barron with the coronavirus update. What's up, Nikki?
Hey! That was a tough segment to watch. I was just back there crying. Even though I've seen this video so many times, but still chokes me up. It's hard to watch, man.
I think that I don't know. I think that one thing for sure, like I said, man, is people should never forget. And you know, I don't sit here saying never forget because want vengeance, but people should never forget, man. So things changed because, like, man, some of what not only us, other people, but of course we went through what we went through. Man, it just wasn't right.
No. So, and I unfortunately don't have a way to leave us in an affected state. So let's jump into the numbers here. So Today we are at 184,404 confirmed cases. So that's an increase of 6,960 from Friday, like the weekend, because the cases and everything get rolled into Monday and Tuesday. Hospitalizations are up 152 hospitalizations. And for reference, last week we were seeing hospitalizations rise by 25 to 30 over the weekend, and we rose by 152. So that's been getting a lot worse. We lost 16 more Washingtonians. And our testing numbers are also slowly getting updated. So we have a 22.3% positivity rate. And for reference, we want to have a 2% positivity rate. This was as of November 26th. The 7-day rolling average was 14%. So these numbers are definitely important, but I think we're kind of past the point of focusing on those numbers, and we need to be focusing more on readiness. So I've got those numbers with us today. So you guys have probably heard me talk about this before, but our hospital readiness, we want to keep that under 80%. You can see it's there, that fourth number. And we've already surpassed that. We were at 81% yesterday, and today we're at 81.4%. So essentially that means that we are running out of hospital beds to treat COVID patients. We are not meeting any of our goals for the state of Washington. Our rate per 100K of newly diagnosed cases over 2 weeks, we're not hitting that goal. We want to be less than 25. We're at 436. Our goal for positive tests over the week is 2%. Where are we at? 14 week average. We percent of all staffed acute care beds occupied by COVID-19 patients. We want to keep that under 10%, and we just surpassed that at 11.8%. So the numbers are not good, and they're just going to get worse. We were kind of in the eye of the storm last week, is how health officials described it, the calm before the chaos. And a lot of that has to do with the gatherings that happened during Thanksgiving, and I've pulled the gathering risk numbers for you here. So for King County, a group of 10 people, so think, family gatherings, friends gatherings, there is currently a 27% chance that somebody in your group is a carrier of COVID, whether that be symptomatic or asymptomatic. So that's pretty high, and some of these neighboring, like Chelan, is like 40%. So it's pretty bad out there as far as the risk goes.
Nikki, I think that a lot of people have heard the advice, but what's the advice? We gotta keep hammering it home. What should people be doing?
Right. So we have to think about something that is now being coined pandemic privilege. So the most social disadvantaged and the poorest communities are the most at risk for COVID, and they lack the privilege to socially distance. And they're also more likely to have existing health inequities that are going to make them more likely to have poorer outcomes from COVID. And if we just pull the number for Black Americans, they are twice as likely to die from COVID over a white American. So when we talk about pandemic privilege, that's the privilege to work from home, the privilege to have health insurance, privilege to not be a part of a racial group or a group that's disproportionately affected by COVID, like the immunocompromised and the elderly. Even the privilege of not knowing someone personally has died is all pandemic privilege. So we need to check that privilege. I mean, we need to stop contributing to activities that cause harm in these less privileged areas. That's stay home, don't travel, don't meet in groups indoors, wear your mask anytime you leave the house, and don't use a test as a way to bypass these safety measures and gather anyway. So if you engage in these activities, in my opinion, you should take responsibility for the fallout. So that's the deaths. That's especially the deaths in our Black and Brown communities. And that's also the overwhelming workload and trauma that we are causing to frontline health workers. If you are not checking your pandemic privilege, you should take some of the responsibility for this. And it's only going to get worse. So stay home, do not travel, wash your hands, and just wear your mask. That's just where I'm at. I know we already had a really great and moving I would say rant, but it's better than a rant from Omari about what the police did. But this got me fired up today. It's just got me fired up. I got on Instagram today and I saw at least 5 people getting on airplanes, going on vacations, going on trips that are not life or death trips. And it just brought tears to my eyes to see these people that I consider friends just not considering these people that are less fortunate, people that are not as privileged as we are. And it just broke my heart. And I'm just like, you do that, consider me not a friend.
Real deal. I don't,
That's where I'm at.
in our community here, especially Black communities of colors, a lot scattered out because of displacement, gentrification. So we're not seeing the potency and the depths like the rest of America and Black communities. When you go to a lot of bigger cities back east or down south, like, man, Black people dying from this COVID, like dying. The number twice is likely to die. And so if people wonder why we take it serious here at Converge, you wonder why we got a coronavirus update show, you wonder why Nikki Barron comes here every day, is because, you know what? Shit, being Black here in America, we always outnumber. We always outgunned. So we got to fight back. The only way for us to fight back is information. And so that's why we're committed to getting this information out to the community.
Yeah. I mean, take a longer lens to your life. That's my advice. Like, is the instant gratification of going to Mexico right now honestly more important than dying or killing somebody? For me, that's a no. There's no amount of instant gratification that's going to get me on a plane to Mexico for vacation. There's just not. And, take a longer lens. You got to live with that. If you bring that back to your communities and spread it, you get to live with the guilt of knowing that you did that. Is that something you want to do? Then just stay home, wear your mask, don't gather in groups. There'll be another Christmas next year. Delay the gratification. It just isn't worth it. Yeah,
we were supposed to do the morning show over in Tanzania for 1 week. We're still here. Nikki Barron, man, I appreciate it. And, I appreciate you staying diligent, staying on top of these numbers, bringing the message here. We're filling in for you tomorrow. Actually, me and Bobby Stills. I don't know how the coronavirus update show is going to go tomorrow because you got me and Bobby together hosting the coronavirus update. But we'll be there at 6:15. We're talking to Kevin Schofield about MMR vaccine and its relation to COVID. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you.
There he goes, Bobby Stills. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. We're doing pretty good, Bobby. We made it to the last segment. You haven't crashed and burned the computer over there. We're still on air. We're still transmitting. All right. Big shout out to my director today, Bobby Stills. He's filling in for all you. He's doing a good job over there. And as usual, the postman continues to deliver. It's good stuff. So before we get out of here today, and actually I got a pretty good segment we're gonna play here. It's another segment from Communion where they talk about the legacy of the Liberty Bank building. It's reinforcement. And I love playing these clips. This is usually the last part of the show. It's Melanin Magic. We're playing something uplifting about Black people, and what a better clip to be playing than these different Communion segments. Big shout out to Bobby and the Jake Grabrot for putting those together. But yeah, man, I'd just say that, like, for real, this is a good window, a good opportunity for leadership to really emerge here, and for people to break out of their silos. Seattle's become real tribal. Everybody has their tribe they're rolling with. But man, who is going to rise above it all? That's the question. Whose main goal is the city first and not their special interest? That's what we need to be asking ourselves. Who wants to see more humanity return to our city? Who wants to see more dignity return to our city? You know, who wants to return to a city like we really care about each other? We really see each other. Because right now, it's a lot of people, we don't see each other. We don't have a willingness to understand each other. We don't have a willingness to see each other's point of view. And that's not really the city we want to be in. That's not a sustainable city. That's not a city that everybody can grow and thrive in. So, you know, we keep an eye out. We'll see what happens. We'll see who throws their hat into the ring for the office of mayor and the other two citywide city council positions that are coming up. But I'll also say this, is that at the end of the day, you know, government doesn't hold the key to the answers in a lot of our communities. We hold the key. We've always held the key. We are the people we've been looking for. And so I want to continue to challenge our viewers out there, challenge yourself. What difference can you make in your community? Irregardless of government, irregardless of community organizations, you as an individual, what can you do to make Seattle a better place? What can you do to make your community a better place? We talked about a long time ago. Let's stop outsourcing leadership. Let's stop outsourcing accountability. Let's be accountable ourselves as citizen stakeholders to make our city a better place. That being said, everybody, we're going to get out of here in a little bit different way today. I'm going to play this clip here from Communion. They're talking about the Liberty Bank building and its legacy, and then that's going to roll right in to Lift Every Voice and Sing. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate all your support out there. Make sure, tag, share, tell a friend about Converge. We're trying to grow the platform. You know what I'm saying? Tell somebody about us. You know, let them know. We're just out here trying to tell the truth as we see it. Till tomorrow at 11 a.m. God bless you. Peace.
So yeah, we are located on 24th and Union in Seattle Central District. 24th and Union is the heart of the CD. It's known as the Black neighborhood in Seattle. Man, honestly, it's funny because I grew up 2 blocks down on 24th and Marion, and you know, there's like, honestly, I feel like there's a little bit of a debate. I'll say, is it Union, is it Cherry, or is it Jackson? You know, for me, it was Jackson, but I'll definitely say being here on Union is really important just because of the history. You feel me? Phillies, Thompson's, Miss Helen's, Cece's, all of those restaurants, all of those food venues. We were talking about the General with the chicken and with the General.
The barbecue.
And then the barbecue. And then there's all the spaces that came before and after. And I think it's just really important that we're coming into that lineage, into that homage of those spaces. And then this building, you know what I'm saying? The Liberty Bank building, the first Black owned bank in the Pacific Northwest. Honestly, I was reading up on that yesterday. Did not know that it was sold again to Key Bank. I didn't know that part. And so that was really good learning for me, you know, as I'm coming into this space, but being able to follow in that legacy of what was built, being in this building where, you know, again, like even since we've moved on to this block, seeing people that I ain't seen in years, since high school, since middle school. And it was dope. It's a beautiful experience. So we want to create and kind of like further that mission that was brought forth by Liberty Bank by bringing more people back into the city. You know, just even if it's just a visit, to see what this building has brought, to see what this neighborhood has turned into. I mean, a lot of people will say like a lot of changes happen. But once that art goes up on that wall, and especially across the street with Midtown, once we see everything that's going to happen, I think that at least it'll pay respect to the history of the space, and hopefully it'll bring people back and really kind of repopulate this space with that Black culture. And that's our goal.
One of the things that Damon said while we were sitting with the architects one day was like, she was like, "What kind of design do you want?" And he was like, "Something that was going to be relevant for 50 years." And I was like, yeah. "Oh, right. You know what I'm saying? It has to be bigger than you now. It definitely has to be bigger than you now." I mean, and I think that we both are inspired by, you know, Daddy, Mr. Green, Frank Green, who was a central part of the Central District, Mount Zion, you know, community that was big on building legacy for his family. And so we definitely, when my grandmother, just all of our family parts are pulling that together so that, my children's children will have something.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day.